Hello everyone, today we are looking at Doorkickers 2. Now this is a Ready or Not map. It's a New America, the DLC for Boiling Point. Now I'm going to be running through this with my Doorkicker squad to kind of illustrate what good positioning you should have when entering these kind of areas. This is what I consider the first floor. This is what I consider the first floor. There's the floor here, but it's not really a lot of stuff. There can be up to 2 enemies here and civilians, but a lot of the time they're just so easy to shoot them really easily. This is kind of where the mission starts. So we're going to kind of just watch and observe how I kind of move through. I didn't move through this area this perfectly, but generally speaking, you're going to be like pieing this doorway, peeking, this direction primarily, because this is where the threat's going to be. There's not really going to be a threat here. There can be, but it's very, very rare. So just like a quick peek here and then just focus your attention here. You do want to close all the doors. You're always going to have this guy watching this door, because if this door opens, and this door opens pretty frequently, honestly. In Doorkickers, there's no such thing as a wedge. So I cannot actually wedge these doors. I would wedge this door, and I would wedge this door as well. Also, when doors are kicked in Doorkickers, I can't actually close them anymore, which kind of sucks. And that's what this is right now. But generally speaking, you would wedge that. You'd close this door and you'd wedge that as well. Now, if you can't close those doors, you're going to have somebody watching it. Pretty standard. Same thing here. You're going to have somebody watching it. If you are injured, like this person got injured very quickly. Sierra got actually injured like almost immediately on one of the first areas because I kind of messed it up. But anyway, it's not important. But just keep them at the back. If you're injured, stay at the back. Is generally the concept. You're the one running security, aka you're going to be in the back watching people's rear kind of thing. So obviously check for traps. There can be gas traps, all that kind of stuff. Here you're going to want to take the table wide, and then you're going to basically park yourself until you see the door. Door is open or closed. You're basically going to go to that door and either wedge it for the time being until your team gets in, or you can mirror it. But generally speaking, you want to be just holding this position until the door is open or closed. Most of the time, if it's closed or if it has a trap on it, you can approach it very safely without any issue. But it's good to have an extra teammate in here when you do approach it. After that, you guys are going to collapse. Remember to close doors if you can. As I said, even these doors and even this door. This is going to be helpful. Now onto this room. This is kind of a tricky area. In Doorkickers, I didn't do it very well because there's certain differences between Doorkickers and Ready or Not, but kind of not necessarily important per se right here. But you are going to have somebody watching this lane of fire the whole time. You're going to have this person right here. He can get an angle through these doors to see if these doors are opening or closing. He's just going to have a sight line. Try not to block him. This is so often the case whenever I watch people. It's not really good to be here. I'm putting a guy here just to kind of illustrate stuff, but you should really have them be off to the side, focusing this lane of fire if this door opens, or if they stack here and push. They can stack up here and come in here and push. It's pretty rare, but they will aggress you into this room. So it's important to know that. You have this person here. This person usually has a mirror gun to look through the door or around corners. And then these guys are all just covering them. It's very, very safe. I'm very commonly this person, just because people aren't as confident. So you're going to go along the side of the wall. You're going to go like this. Now, there's a couple complicated things that it's kind of hard to illustrate in Doorkickers. But number one, if the door is open, this is very dangerous. This door is a little scary most of the time. So you're going to watch your visibility into this. It's pretty rare that this is actually open. Most of the time it's closed to begin with, if you haven't set off any motion sensors. If you have, then the door is going to be open. It's going to be a little more annoying. So first, you're going to check this side. You are going to go along this wall. It's going to see what's here. You should be concealed. Doorkickers map geometry is not perfect in this angle here from this spot. You should actually be concealed. It's maybe just a little bit over. You wouldn't be able to actually see me moving around here. You'd see like a sliver like around here, I think, but you shouldn't be able to see anybody in this kind of section here as long as you're tucked in back on the corner. And you're just going to try to not go too far out, but you are going to try to just see if there's anybody over here, because there can be somebody running up and down the stairs. So just you're checking that out. Once that's done, your teammates are going to trace where you've been, kind of like imagine if there's landmines everywhere, they're not going to go where you haven't been. So they're going to go here and here, right? The second person can clear this. I don't think I've ever, it's insanely rare that I've ever seen an enemy in here, I have seen an enemy in here. I'm not sure if it was some other instance where we maybe went this way and around, and then someone may have ran in here. But I have seen someone in here, so just be aware that in this ready or not thing, I did not put one in here because it's so rare. But it's important to, you know, if you have like a mirror gun, mirror this, check that out. If you see civilian here, you know you're pretty good, but you still check and to see what's in here. Just, you know, a quick little check. Once you're done that, you're going to come out, close the door. You're going to come over here and work on this door. If it's trapped, that means they can't come through it. I've seen enemies come through, but it's, you know, it's whatever. But generally speaking, you're going to come over here and kind of operate on this door once these guys get into position over here. So once you have somebody positioned watching this door, you are in a decent foothold here. So you have cross coverage. So if anybody comes through here, they're going to get shot. You will see, usually this door isn't open. And if both of the doors are open, it's usually not too bad. You can pie out and kind of work this angle without exposing yourself to the spot from this angle. You should be able to take that out. So as long as you have cross coverage here, and make sure that you aren't blocking the line of sight of this. So stay out of this doorway and don't be kind of in the center here. Always kind of be off to the side. Always be off to the side, touching the walls. Stay to the walls. It's important. So here we're going to kind of watch what's going on. I'm sure I maybe made a couple positioning mistakes probably, but generally speaking, what you're going to do is one person from here can pie out, look around. You're usually not going to pass this area like I did, which is just a mistake. You are going to go from this side. This is the safer side to pie out from. You're going to, from here, be looking at this corner. I can't like freely in this game. A little bit different from Ready or Not, but the principles are still there. The positioning is still there. Everything is to its layout. So this is a pretty decently accurate layout. These are the blueprints. So it's very important to note that the general gist of where the positioning is very important. Once you kind of, from here, have checked this threshold of pieing left and right, you check here, you check here, you check here, right? As you're pieing out. So you're like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to peek out. I'm going to check that way. I'm going to peek out and check this way. I'm going to peek out and check that way. Kind of like you're crossing the road and like just keep peeking or whatever each side. Once you kind of like are out here, you can kind of safely go to the wall and take up position there. So once you've like pied this, as long as there's no one here, and as long as you kind of cleared this, it's good to have one person just clear and check, just do a little peek. Nobody there, run back. Easy. You are going to have this person who is here, position, move here to take this kind of lane of fire. As I said, you should have somebody be doing this. I'm just kind of doing things kind of one at a time, so it's easier to see what's going on. And you're going to have somebody here chilling to watch this kind of door if there's any pushing. So you're going to have like 2 to 3 weapons most of the time looking at that door. Now, whenever there is someone looking at one of these doors here, you're going to have somebody like covering them. So they're checking the bathroom. You can just mirror this. You should be able to see somebody's feet. If it looks like a hostile, take them out. And if it's a civilian, just ignore them. Just ignore civilians, honestly. Checking here, there's usually pretty commonly a wire. Now, the one difference in this that I couldn't replicate, and I'm going to illustrate now, this window will have a blind that you can go into the room, and it'll be the blind string will be here. You roll the blinds down so they can't see through this. Once you do that, and you should have checked this spot. If you mirror this at the start of the thing, you should be able to see their feet underneath this cabinet. But after that, they're doing that. Once you're in here, pull the blinds down. You're going to go over here, pull the blinds down here, so no one can see in through here. So this is completely closed off, and you would have wedged this, and you would have wedged this. Now you can take the wedge out and come back with your team, and then you need to restack here. I can't do that in Doorkickers because you can't like remove or close curtains or whatever. Like you can't like, I can't add curtains. They have to be like, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, after that, make sure, as I said, you can kind of have somebody running security, because there can be someone who can run down here on occasion, and it's pretty rare. It's not too frequent. Generally speaking, whenever you're operating with these doors, you want to close these doors. If you are playing Ready or Not, you should be able to close actually both doors here. In Doorkickers 2, you can't, but principle is still the same. You're going to close these doors. You're going to walk across. You're going to go over here. You're going to close these doors. You would wedge this door. So from here, we have wedged that door, that door. We did pick up this wedge after we did this, and we're going to go here, blah, 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 and we're kind of there. So that's wedged currently, and this would be wedged. And then you're going to operate on this room. So the only way an enemy can come from is here. No other location can they come from. They can't come from here, and they can't come from here. And so there anything is just going to be out of this room or down the staircase. You have this person watching. He's going to alert them, but this main focus is going to be here. So working on this, you're going to check with a mirror gun. It's pretty well. Most of the time they're hiding behind some, you know, debris of whatever. There's a bunch of junk in here. You're just going to, you know, throw if you have a gas grenade, they work kind of as smoke grenades. You can kind of like throw it here to obstruct a large area. Ignore what I'm drawing. Anyway, so you have kind of line of sight. You can kind of open the door and check that. Or you can just throw a stinger in here. You can throw a flashbang in here. You can throw a 9-bang. I don't recommend using 9-bangs because they are tiny radius, but you're going to do. So you can throw stingers and flashbangs. This is a place to use some flashbangs. It's not too bad. If you have 5 people and you have like competent loadouts, like you should have like 4 to 6 flashbangs per person. If you're using one of my loadouts, you'll probably have like 6 to 8 if you're, you know, doing certain types of loadouts. And you will clear this room. You will be doing this solo while these guys kind of pie the area and hold the position. But you can totally clear this with one person. You're just going to do some peek leaning. That's why I'm illustrating you should do it with one person. But you'll like, you know, peek into the room, like free lean, alt lean. You're checking and checking and checking until you kind of can see the target. You're going to take that shot or whatever, throw a flashbang in and take them out. And you're going to enter the room. So it's pretty straightforward. As I said, this will be wedged. Can't do wedges and door kickers. I wish you could. But in terms of positioning, this is all still very accurate. You should be doing this every single time. Every single time I have ever played this match, I can pretty consistently, even solo, clear this floor by myself for clarification. And this is supposed to be on hard mode for clarification as well. So you are going to, generally speaking, mirror every door. It's totally fine. This one's a little bit tricky. There are like plant life here. So just be very careful whenever you're looking to this room. You think you don't see anybody. They can kind of be really well concealed, and it's kind of annoying, but just be very aware of that. Maybe throw a flashbang far or like, you know, somewhere into the room, see if they respond, that kind of thing. Now, it's pretty common that there can be a civilian here or a, you know, civilian somewhere in this kind of general region. There's most commonly a enemy here or in this kind of box vicinity. Sometimes they can be over here and they can, like, you know, push and attack you or whatever. But generally speaking, in this room, I don't know why I'm circling parts of the room, but these are the most common areas I've seen them. I was going to be like behind the desk or like leaving the door, or they can be anywhere around this kind of area. Most of the time, that's where they are. Throw a flashbang. It's totally fine. You have 5 people. You have like 10 flashbangs each. You can flashbang every single room pretty much. Especially when you get to the 3rd floor or 4th floor technically, which has the resupply. You are going to go wide around this, so you don't cross in front of this and go like that. Because if this door opens, which it did, great example, you need to have people when they come in here, they're just hiding behind the desk. This guy is going to be moving up. He's going to close the door. This is kind of a mistake that I did, but you're going to close the door so that these guys can move up more safely. You still are going to have somebody 1, 2 parked for shooting anybody who's like this lane of fire, so like straight, and then you're going to have somebody aiming here so you can take those guys out. So this is definitely the position anywhere around here, so this is where you want to be.
No idea.
Element to talk. Threat is down. They're everywhere.
Door straight ahead is open.
Once you are here, and once everybody's like inside the area, you can come around the desk and position yourself here. You don't need to be behind the desk. It's a little bit safer, but you don't really need to. It's kind of better to be closer, ready to go into action. Now, there's also something hard to replicate in Doorkickers again. So what you are going to do is you are going to go from here. You can kind of pie and see what's going on in here and obviously around here. Use your pie around the door. Like you can look around. You don't need to enter immediately. So pie around the door, and then once you enter, this is the path you're going to take. You're going to be here. Then you're going to close this door. As long as you do that correctly, like you can close both doors simultaneously. But you're going to come out here, go all the way this way. You're going to close the door. You're going to cross over, and then you're going to go and follow this line. Your focus is going to be in that direction, this way. And you're going to park right here. And your team is going to, as I said, kind of that trip mine analogy, a minefield. Basically have them move where you move, is the idea.
Civilian is ready. Entry team to talk. Civi's ready.
Voice tag to left.
I heard pops and they were screaming.
Is that their flash? Sorry.
And your team is going to, as I said, kind of that trip mine analogy, a minefield. Basically have them move where you move, is the idea. And you're going to kind of have them replicate the process. You're going to watch this door. You have somebody watching this door. This guy should actually be here instead. But you are going to have someone be watching this angle. So if this door's open, and you're going to have somebody watching this angle right here. I'm talking to you right now after I have already been starting editing this video. The reason why I actually was watching this door, because in Doorkickers there's no wedges. Technically, you're supposed to wedge this door. If you don't have wedges, then I guess you can kind of do this strategy, but I forgot that you're supposed to wedge this door. I looked at my other footage. You're supposed to wedge it. Wedge it if you have wedges. If you don't, then you would do this kind of strategy. But back to the video. Once you kind of have passed everyone through here, you can kind of be doing this simultaneously. As long as you're watching this angle and here and then here. Those are obviously the only threat locations, of course. Most of the time, it's pretty rare that there's going to be anybody coming through this door. Most of the time, it's going to be through here. And it's pretty rare that there's anybody going to be like running through here, but it is still possible. Sometimes, don't forget to close these doors and wedge them. Please don't forget. On rare occasions, there can be somebody who will be like coming down the stairs, or maybe you missed it or something, through this door. Like they'll be coming through the door if you especially don't wedge it and that door's open or something, depending on how you're doing your run. As long as you're doing everything properly as I'm explaining it, you will do very well, generally speaking. Obviously you can disable the motion sensors. If you do trigger a motion sensor, just go back to a very defensible position. You hit that motion sensor, you hear them breaching, you sprint to the nearest very, very defensible cover, and you sit there on a corner on an angle, and you hold that angle until it's like 15 seconds. Wait, 15 seconds is generally my rule. But anyway, back to the action. Okay. Once everyone's stacked on this door, and this doesn't need to necessarily be the formation, as long as you have like, you can have some, you usually don't want to be like exposed to the room. So, like I'd stay away from like a cone of like this most of the time. If you do want to pass over and then just like peek out and hold this angle, don't go stepping out though, because you will die, because there can be guys over here still. This should be wedged, by the way, so it's only going to be in this room and over here. So keep that in mind. But generally speaking, you're going to be like a firing lane into like these angles into the room. You can throw a stinger. Try to throw it in the center room right there. Don't throw it too close here. Throw it farther in, because there can be a guy here, or there can be a guy here. Most commonly, the enemies are going to be over here. And you're going to fall into the room. You're going to follow this path. Geometry isn't perfect here, but it's very similar to Ready or Not. But you're going to like pie around this, or free lean around this very carefully. There can be like a guy right here. You'll be able to see him just past here. Or this door is open and you can see an enemy through here, or, you know, usually there's enemies around here. I tried to replicate that the best I could in this recreation that I made. So after everybody's into the room, I'm kind of just doing the action here right now. kind of doing step by step. But once everyone has like kind of gotten into this room, just come in, close the door. It's fine. This is also going to be wedged, by the way. And remember to close doors. Sometimes, and as I said, door kickers, I can't close doors, but if they get kicked or shotgun blasted or whatever. But anyway, from here, you are going to, most of the time, this isn't going to be shot out, the door kickers thing at the current moment, but you can peek this open to see what's through here. If this door is opened or closed, you can like leave this open to kind of cover it from this angle. But if it's closed, you can just close these blinds as well. And of course, you can kind of like barely see into this kind of area as well, which is important. And if you are, as I said, once again, low health, they're just running security in the back. Now, you are going to have somebody flow here and flow into here. Most of the time, I am this person. I am going to quickly, from here, be like, pie this area, and just slowly pie it off and kind of slice the pie, and check out if there's any threat in that location. This person is going to be looking at this. These guys are going to flow into the room. Technically, this should be here. This one should be over here, which I'm just, happening, but yep. And most of the time, there's going to be someone at the door here, kind of watching this angle, or like, as long as you're like here and watching this angle, as long as you're on this line, like watching this angle, because if this door opens, he can't shoot back. I'm pretty sure this opens like this. I believe it does, because it can open like that, yeah. So if this door opens, it's going to open in his face, but he's just here to watch this just in case. There's somebody running security. You don't always need to be running security. I'm just doing this because a lot of the time you don't need to do this with more than 5 people, and running security is nice because it will save you when you're on the second floor. And if you guys think this is interesting, me recreating these like layouts and then doing them as a squad and how you should kind of be like positioning, you can watch this and be like, oh, like I should be here, this guy should be here. This isn't a perfect replication. Most of the time, I am viewing everyone moving around here in the lens through this perspective, so it is hard to tell what people are doing whenever I'm playing with them. Most of the time, this is how they should be moving, generally. There can be some slight variations, and I'm sure I probably made some mistakes. I kind of did this pretty quickly when I was running through this. But yeah, generally speaking, this is kind of right. So from here, the first person who enters the room is going to use tippy toes, which is Alt, and then you hold W. Whatever the free lean is for consoles, and you hold forward to tilt your, sit up, like, position yourself up with the tippy toes. You should be able to see about half of the door. You're just going to hold this lane of fire. It's nice if you have like a digital scope, or not digital scope, an SDR scope, or any type of, magnification on your thing. Check it back here. There can be a guy here. Sometimes there's a guy here. Actually, more commonly it's here, but there can be a guy in this kind of region. There can be a guy just positioned here looking away. I've had that happen. So just check it, Whenever I am moving up, I check here first, and then I go up here, and then I check around this, and then I'm kind of positioning in this corner to set up for this. But this is usually me, and then I would do all of that kind of movement stuff because I'm usually the one moving through this map pretty confidently. I did just throw a flashbang to check this just because of safety in door kickers, but you don't necessarily need to use a flashbang. You can free lean, do that, as I said, like pieing, slicing the pie, free lean kind of stuff, and you should be good. Like, you don't need to do all that rest of the stuff. From here, you can mirror. Most commonly, enemies are going to be in this area, and they can be behind here. So keep that in mind. Check here, check here. You're going to flow into the room. Hold this position. You can hold this angle and this angle the best you can. Choose one or the other. Totally fine. Have people flow in. When other people flow in to cover this angle, you can cover this and that. You can like pie like this with this person. You can pie like this to check here, without exposing yourself to here, and then you can pie like this to check here. Is the idea. So. And you're going to clear both areas. So most of the time there's only ever probably going to be like one person like in this entire room, but this is going to be the next threat most of the time. And then of course people who are running security, you can only do this, like you can do this with more people and have people watching the firing lane. Just give people room to work. the doors. Now here, this person's going to open it. In Doorkickers 2, you can't be moving while you open a door, so you have to be stationary. I pause, I open, I run out of the way. But this is how you're going to open it. You're going to open it, back up, and then you can flow into this side and here. I'm usually the person who flows into here and holds this position until people flow behind me.
No tangos.
Very commonly, I'm usually watching them on cam, so this is usually where I'm going to be when I'm doing this. Sometimes you can check around this corner because people kind of forget. There can be some over here. It's pretty rare. They can most of the time be shooting at you already. And now there can be people in here. I've had them in here before. They can be around the corner very tight, and it was kind of scary. And sometimes they can be here and patrol out and shoot you. So just check this room still. Pretend every room is a threat, because it's going to help you on the later floors, I promise you. Just make sure you check every single corner. Now, from here, you're just going to kind of flow into this large hallway. As I said, this is wedged. And yeah. Also, so if you ever see any doors, and as long as you are diligently closing every single door you come across, if a door is open, that means there has been suspect activity. Now, depending on which way the door is opened, so for example, let's take a look at this door. If this door is opened, now, ready or not, opens at 90-degree angles for the doors. So the door will be like this, which means that means someone walked over here and opened it from this position and went through. Now that could mean multiple things. So let's say hypothetically, if this door is open and this door is open and they're open in these directions, that means someone came from this room, presumably, came in here, opened the door, and opened this door. Now, obviously they could have left or whatever and wandered about and went upstairs, but it's important to note these kind of things because I promise you, you will be so happy when you're like, oh, there's a door open. And as long as everyone's super diligent, you're like, I know where the suspect might be. Trust me. Just take my word for it. It's going to help. Now, when you are coming to this door, or this room rather, please, please, please be very careful with how you pie into this. So you're going to be coming down the hall. Don't just wander down the hall. You still haven't cleared this room. You're going to be clearing and pieing from here. So free lean angle, free lean angle, free lean, free lean. Very carefully check into the room, slice by slice. You know what I'm talking about. So make sure you clear this room. There can be a guy here, and there can be a guy here, most commonly.
Good job.
I did not get to let me just show you the rest of the map because that's what I wanted to do. Now you may have noticed that I did clear that room or whatever, but this is not the end of the floor, obviously. So I'm just going to go hypothetically. So you are going to go down this area. Sadly, I killed the last enemy, Doorkickers, since the end of the match, but you are going to come back here. This door would have been wedged by this point. You are going to stack on each side. You're going to position each other like this.
Affirmative.
Ooh, I'm stuck on something. Oh, I see. You aim about halfway up on the rim of the door. On the inside rim. It shows up. Okay.
And you are going to mirror this door because there could be a guy in this corner and a guy in this corner. Please check the corners. It has killed me so many times, I promise. Please check the corners. There's going to be one person who's going to check the corner and it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be like, oh my God, he was totally right. Check the corners, please. Please check the corners. Unwedge this, clear the doors. You are going to flow along the sides of the room like this. You are not going to pass this line of sight, so you're going to be flowing into this spot. One person here, one person here, one person here, that kind of thing. And you can have somebody here in the back corner watching this. So this guy's going to be watching this angle. These people are going to be watching these angles. This guy's going to be watching over here. So either here and or at the main doors. So you can have somebody here. You can, handle the door, check the mirror gun it, check it. Sometimes there's going to be an enemy here, and sometimes there's going to be an enemy here. Now, Once you have cleared the bathroom and you have cleared this hallway, which you will have, you know, checked. I think these doors are actually always open now that I think about it. So I have to fix that in my math. But anyway, these doors are probably going to be always open. It's default, but make sure you check around the corner, check this angle, and then you are on the way up to the second floor. Second floor. No, I can't. Right. Floor. So after that, you have beat the first floor. You don't go this way because there's a plant up there that obstructs your vision, and it is a very shitty position to be in. So we never go this way. It's awful, honestly. Terrible. If you guys want to see the next floor, this is the first floor where you actually are like doing like, you know, difficult things. I don't count this floor down here where the stairs would be. There's be stairs here. But if you guys enjoy this, let me know. If you guys, you know, tell me what you guys think. I have taken this path every single time just to kind of reassure this validity. And just because you are taking this kind of route when you play, that doesn't mean that you're not going to die. It doesn't mean that your teammates won't suck. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes. But generally speaking, that's the route you're going to take. That's the strategy you're going to do. You're going to be wedging these doors. You can mirror this. There is a kind of a more advanced way of doing this where you, and so whenever you like get to these doors, instead of closing them immediately and wedging them, you are going to like pie out and check the angles. I would probably just avoid that, honestly, for simplicity. It's just kind of a min-maxy thing to, you know, try to find those enemies a little bit safer and engage them in a, you know, before things start to go down so they're not running around like crazy. As I said, this should be wedged, this should be wedged, you go through here, all that kind of stuff. I'll actually just watch it at the very beginning and kind of show you at like what 8 times speed and kind of show you just like a quick speed, you know, overview of what's kind of going on. I have done this this way every single time, and it has been insanely successful. I'm sure there are other methods, but in terms of like having a team, I did this like with a team of 3. And just with a team of 3, you don't need a lot of people. You can do a team of 4, you can do a team of 5. And if you make it to the second floor with your whole squad, which you should, as long as everyone's not being overzealous, doesn't, you know, aren't very, you know, because I've had people wander off and I'm like, I can predict that they are going to die almost every single time because it's just kind of obvious. A lot of people are just way too impatient, and you need to be patient for this kind of stuff. So that's kind of the route map, as you kind of saw. Let me know if you guys want to see the next level. Let me know if you want to see the next level after that. If you have questions about this, let me know. If you wonder what weapons to take, what loadouts, the loadout I used to complete that this mission on hard mode. I actually ended up like soloing the last like bit of it because my team died before this. I kind of soloed the last floor. But if you guys have any questions or want to know something, just let me know. Ask me in the comments, just like usual. And if you want to see more of this, let me know as well. Be like, I'd love to see more. I'd love to see this map. Just ask me. I'm more or less going to be willing to do all that stuff. These things do take a little bit of time. I did live stream my creation of this map. I didn't live stream the part where I added the enemies in, but these are very high reaction enemies for Doorkickers. But anyway, that is going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching and have a good day.